What is going on, everybody? I'm back from my little family vacation, and Modern Horizons 3 is out, so it is time to talk about the elephant in the room. Or I guess the bird in the room? What is going on? Welcome back to my channel. We're doing another Commander deck today. After my first video back from vacation, I missed so many things. I didn't get to talk about any Lorcana stuff or Magic things going on. So trying to catch up basically, and we've got a doozy today. Obviously, with Modern Horizons 3 coming out, a lot of powerful cards getting added into a variety of different formats, obviously modern, but legacy and vintage as well, and also a lot of legendary creatures coming out, and so a lot of new commanders being able to be played in the CEDH format. And we have some incredible results from a tournament that happened a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at one of the top lists. Obviously, most people probably know, obviously from the title, but obviously could guess the deck that I would be talking about in this case. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. But first, like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. All right, let's talk about this bird. All right. So to nobody's surprise, I'm sure, we are talking about Nadu Winged Wisdom, where we're featuring a deck list featuring Nadu as the commander. Unless you have been living under a rock, you should know about this card. Obviously, we're still going to go over it, but holy crap, does Wizards have a really, really bad time or track record designing balanced Simic cards? It seems like every other year or every other set, I have to talk about or I have to see some grossly overpowered or just misbalanced Simic card. Thinking about cards like Oko, Thief of Crowns, Uro. So yeah, and now we have the new edition here in Nadu Winged Wisdom. This card's doing a ton of insane things in Modern and Legacy. And obviously here it can do equally powerful things if you play it as your commander. So initially, when I saw this, I was like, okay, yes, I get that it's powerful in Modern and Legacy, but I didn't really see exactly what was making this card so powerful in Commander. And we'll take a look at the list, obviously, but holy cow. If you look at EDH top 16 here, which is, by the way, something I really recommend people look at now if you're trying to get lists. Previously, it was things like the CEDH deck list database. Now we have more tournament results, so something like this is a little bit more um, more representative of what is kind of successful, and you can kind of see some data and everything. So yeah, as you can see here, we have a bunch of Nadu lists being played in tournaments, and we even have three. Yes, that's right, three from the top four of this recent tournament that happened. Obviously, so there's some other ones that happened all around. There's also another one here in the top 11, or sorry, that got 11th, or sorry, that got, excuse me, not 11th, that got 33rd, 32nd, 41st here. Sorry, trying to look at all these things. And yeah, so a bunch of people running Nadu. I think let's actually look back at the statistics there, because I think it was pretty high up for being a very, very new commander. Obviously, my girl Stella Lee here, but I think Nadu was, oh, is it below? Awesome, love that. Yeah, okay, so 49th, but still in the top 50 commanders of all time. Um, I don't know if that's, I guess we can look at conversion. Uh, Conversion might be a little bit more wonky. Let's look at Nadu. 67th. Actually, that's also very impressive. So anyways, the point here is that Nadu being very, very popular and powerful. Um, so yeah. All right, so we are going to go ahead and look at Baneslayer's list, who was the person who came in second in this tournament. I only really want to look at one list. I look at the others. They're all mostly the same. So yeah, I didn't want to look at a whole bunch of lists or have to do some cross-examination. So just to keep things simple, just gonna look at this one list, and I just chose them because, again, they came in second over the other two. So um, Yeah, no prejudice against anybody else or any biases there. But yeah, going to talk about their list. But first, we have to talk about Nadu, this incredibly busted card. Uh, one blue green for 3/4 legendary creature bird wizard. It's got flying because it's a bird, obviously, but has a very interesting ability here. Creatures you control have whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, you put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, it goes into your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. Now, here is the big caveat, is that this text of triggering only twice each turn is inside the quotations. So what this means is that each creature you control has this instance of this ability that can trigger twice per turn. So it'll trigger twice per turn per creature, and that's where the design of this card and the thought process behind it just escapes me. I don't really know why. No one really knows why they designed this card this way. It seems really weird to limit it and then to have it be busted anyways. It just I'm gonna stop talking about this card because I'm gonna be really tilted or get really triggered otherwise. So let's just talk about the actual deck list. So here's the actual deck list, and obviously, if you've seen it in Modern, you know about its interaction with zero cost equipments. So the most notorious one being Shuko, and probably the best one, as it is the cheapest and just kind of most straightforward to use. 1 mana, and it just gives a boost to power and has zero cost to equip. Okay. So this makes it so that you can just activate on Nadu, get those triggers, and if you get lands, awesome, they go onto the battlefield as ramp, and then you can use those ramped lands, the lands that you just got to play more creatures. You continue activating Shuko on the newly played creatures, which will gain the ability that Nadu has, and then you just kind of storm off from there. So there are 2 other cards in this deck that do that. So we've got the Lightning Greaves, a casual staple here, right? A lot of casual decks tend to play this card to protect their commanders that they like so much. You playing it here for the 0 equip cost again. And it's really interesting here that, while it does give the equipped creature Shroud, if you have 2 creatures, or more than 1 creature, I guess I should say, which you probably want if you're playing Nadu, you'll be able to switch it back and forth, even though the creature that it currently is equipped to has Shroud, so it still works there. And then the other one, which, can actually be used to make infinite mana, but it looks like in this deck, what I've seen, does not actually have any ways of going infinite, which is interesting. So anyways, so Umbra Mantle here, making the creature bigger, and then, but that we don't really care about any of that other than it's just another zero cost equipment. Oh, that's so hard to say. You know what I mean. So yeah, both of these interact very, very profitably with Nadu and can lead to some pretty busted turns. So that is what the deck is trying to do. So then, how do we get there, right? How do we cast our Nadu? Obviously, we're playing a lot of the mana dorks in the format. Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, especially powerful. Mystic, Finhorn, Elves, just Elves galore. And then, sorry, let me make this look a little bit better because I always hate. There we go. There we go. Yeah. And then we've got, I guess I do kind of want the group. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the text or do you like the visual? I do kind of like the visual. Let me know what you guys think if you guys just want to see the whole entire list. But anyways, so yeah, so you have those. We have some other mana dorks and things like Fanatic of Ronas. I believe those are mostly it. And then things like Elvish Spirit Guide, just all of the mana rocks that you would expect to see: Chrome Mox, Jewel Lotus, Lotus Petal, Mana Crypt. Not really going to go over those because again, that's pretty common for CEDH decks. Just any way of casting Nadu early, very similar to Stella Lee, actually, if I might add. Again, Stella Lee has become again my main commander, so it's very interesting to see another new card come out that is a 2-color commander that is very commander centric, that is very powerful. So, just making some notes there. Bristly Bill here, a new card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, is another interesting synergy card, kind of like Shuko, as if a land comes into play, you get to target a creature That ability then triggers Nadu again, right, and then keeps kind of the loop going. So that's pretty interesting, and then also can like serve as almost kind of like a win condition, as just you activate it and you double all the counters on creatures, and then you just have huge guys. We've got Kinnan here to kind of help with even more mana. Obviously, like if you play Kinnan and you start tapping your mana dorks or your mana rocks, you're going to generate even more mana, and that can kind of help with the win condition here in Finale of Devastation. Like that, that's the whole game plan, is just make a bunch of dudes, get a bunch of mana, cast Finale of Devastation, kill the table. So yeah. And then the rest of the deck is, the rest of the creatures here are just all built to kind of support Nadu. So we got things like, oh my god, I don't even know. Apheto? What is it? Apheto? 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 I don't know. Apheto Alchemist, which can untap another artifact or creature. Untap target artifact or creature. So these all, that's why it's important, because these can target themselves. So this, and I believe, yeah, Seeker of Skybreak. I forget if there's one more. No, it looks like that's it. These two creatures can tap to activate the ability on themselves or another creature, but mostly themselves, right, to kind of guarantee that those Nadu effects. And this is also per turn, right? So you can also play Seeker, play Nadu, and then immediately start tapping it during the other player's turns to get those value effects as well. So even if you're not going infinite with the things like Shuko, you can still do pretty good value plays with things like Seeker of Skybreak. We talked about, did we talk about Fanatic? Fanatic is a new card. It's really good. Put it in your deck. The 1/4, which is like really awesome. Like it's just such an interesting card. The other kind of nutty cards here are Springheart Nantuko and Scoot Swarm. Again, Scoot Swarm, another card that most casuals would be familiar with. So it's kind of interesting to see that these cards make their way into competitive. Scoot Swarm, obviously, again, doing kind of that thing that Bristly Bill does, of just you play a land, you get another creature, you get more Nadu triggers, which give you more lands, which give you more Nadu triggers, which give you more creatures, which give you more Nadu triggers. So you can kind of see where that goes. What else we got here? Spell Seeker also is doubles as sorry, I was gonna say doubles with Nadu, but that doesn't work. But is just a really good protection piece for Nadu. Unctus is really an interesting card here with these untappers, these Seeker of Skybreak type effects, and I guess also just with blue creatures. Yeah, interesting. I guess you can also just pay 2 life and make anything blue. So that also kind of works. So you just like turn your Seeker or your Alchemist, so that when you are activating these, not only are you getting the Nadu effect, but you're also getting the Unctus effect of looting, which is super powerful. Just digging through your deck twice as fast. Also very funny that Unctus was a card that I was considering for Stella Lee for the longest time. So that's really, really funny to kind of have been doing that, and then to see Unctus here. Just trying to relate, I guess, to the Nadu players. Walking Ballista is an interesting one here, as again, there's no way to kind of go infinite. Again, from all that I've seen, there is no way to actually generate infinite mana, but there is a way to generate I guess what something in the business would call a crap ton of mana. So you can certainly sink that into that. It can also be here to just like put counters on it. You activate Nadu, activate and kind of ping your own creatures, but also it just like pinging other things kind of works. Because like also you don't really need to answer things like Bowmasters, because fun fact, this is not a draw, this is putting into your hand, so this card doesn't even care about Orcish Bowmaster, which is absolutely absurd. And I guess there is a way to generate infinite mana with Hullbreaker Horror. So actually, never mind. So there is a way to generate infinite mana. It's Hullbreaker Horror. So I guess that is fine. So yeah, it's, pardon me, I wasn't saying there is a way to make infinite mana. There is no unique way. Let's put it that way. There's no way to use Nadu to generate infinite mana. You kind of just dig through your deck, find the mana to cast Hullbreaker Horror, make infinite mana, and then use Walking Bliss to kill the table. So that's fine. That makes more sense than like playing any other cards. Again, some of these other lists are playing more cute combos, but yeah, I think this makes a ton of sense. Displacer Kitten, pretty gross as well. As whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it can flicker a creature. So that flicker will you can also flicker Nadu. And so if you flicker Nadu, I believe that it will the creatures will briefly lose the ability and regain a new instance of the ability. Because I also have been asking about what happens if you make a non-legendary copy of Nadu. And if that's the case, they get an additional ability that is not tied to the creature. It is tied to the Nadus, so to speak. So they'll be able to activate the trigger their effects 4 times a turn, because they'll have 2 instances of those abilities and they're separate. A little bit complicated of an explanation, but basically I believe that also if you blink Displacer Kitten on Nadu, it means like you get to go even harder, because all of a sudden you get to target your creatures again and it'll trigger those effects. Speaking of flickering, we also have Tribute Mage and Trinket Mage. Obviously, Trinket Mage is a powerful card as just getting any of your 0 mana artifacts. Tribute Mage is here to get the Lightning Greaves mostly. Both of these cards do a really good job of, again, searching for those important pieces, obviously needing to find Shuko and Lightning Greaves, so having as many copies as you can, but obviously getting some of these random artifacts is also nice. Anything else to talk about in the creatures here? I don't think so. There's some copy effects, but those are pretty standard. Those are expected to be seen. We talked about Finale of Devastation as just a way of winning the game. You cast this for a bajillion. Your dudes get huge, they get haste. You can also get this back with Noxious Survival, so you don't have to worry about casting it and then not having it for later. Neoform, just a good tutor card. New spell end here that fights, which is pretty cool. Eldritch Evolution should be pretty self-explanatory. And then, of course, because it's a blue deck, we're obviously playing a slew of counter magic and interaction spells. All of the standard interaction spells. Legolas's quick reflexes is pretty powerful, as it is, first of all, a way to trigger Nadu, but also a way to save Nadu at uncounterably, which is pretty cool. Snakeskin Veil giving hexproof is nice. New counterspell in Strict Serenade, kind of the reverse of Swan Song, so kind of getting both of them in here, giving you a lot of play against a lot of different things. Archdruid's Charm here can be good just to get rid of pesky artifacts and enchantments here, so I like seeing that, but also can be used to go and get some important lands or important creatures. So if you have made infinite mana but maybe don't have a way to draw your deck, you can just cast that, go get your Walking Ballista, win the game. You can also use it for some removal, but yeah, just a nice flexible card. Same thing with Chord and Worldly Tutor. Those cards are great. Also a big fan of Sink into Stupor. This card looks pretty clunky, but again, being on a land that could even come into play tapped is just super good. Would highly recommend people try that card out. Really, really like that card. And then pretty standard Artifact and Enchantment Suite. We'll talk about these 2 cards here. But yeah, Mox Amber, Mox Opal, lots of artifacts. Of course, the One Ring. Nothing too crazy from these lands. And then Retreat to Coral Helm and Roaring Earth here, excuse me. Both, again, kind of do the Bristly Bill thing. The kind of same thing that all these cards do. Roaring Earth, right, when a land enters, you target, right? So then that can kind of do the Nadu thing. Retreat to Coral Helm does a very similar thing. It even does it better, where it can be used to untap mana dorks. So if you have Elvish Mystics, or if you have these Secretness of Skybreak or anything like that, you can target them and then untap them. So that's pretty cool. The scry on this, I guess, can be relevant as well if you want to get guarantee get some lands. Obviously though, but these cards are a bit clunky, so I'm not sure how well both of these cards fit. I guess I like Retreat to Coral Helm a bit more since it kind of goes a little bit harder. But yeah. Let's take a look at these lands here. So you notice obviously running a Highlander mana base, I guess as you would call it. And that's actually really, really important here because of the card Field of the Dead. I absolutely despise this card. Again, another one of these cards that was just designed so poorly, and I don't really know why they included this card in this form. But anyways, colorless land enters tapped, but we don't care about that because when it or another land enters, if you have 7 more lands with different names, you get a 2/2 zombie. So once again, just kind of like Roaring Earth or Skew Swarm, it is a land that you can put into play off of Nadu, make zombies, which lets you activate your equipments again and trigger Nadus on those zombies, which give you more triggers, which give you more lands, which give you more zombies. This is absolutely the card that you are looking to combo off with. It is completely absurd, and yeah. Outside of that, we have Urza Saga here as a great way to tutor up Shuko. Right, just kind of playing it early can make it so that you can, by the time that you get your Nadu, you can go ahead and get your Shuko and start going off. Other interesting lands, I guess there's this Akina, which can be a Shuko, or sorry, a Nadu trigger. Another Minamo can be another one as well. Also good with the Wandering, obviously, but yeah, mostly just singleton mana base, so that you can enable your Field of the Dead as easily as possible. So yeah, cool stuff. So yeah, that is the I think all of the cards in the actual deck list. Again, didn't go over literally everything because it's pretty standard actually. It's when I thought of Nadu, and when I also heard people saying it's a very commander centric deck, I was expecting a lot weirder cards, and while there are certainly some funny ones, the core of the deck is actually fairly standard. Again, besides the Shuko cards, right? Like I think like the weirdest card here is this Aphido Alchemist or the Roaring Earth. Besides that, the deck is just fine. So yeah, super interesting. So again, the deck is really just trying to play Nadu and kind of do those kind of manual storm turns. It is also interesting to note that this is the first time I think I've seen a Simic storm deck. Like usually when I think of storm decks, right, we think of Izzet decks. So it's pretty cool to see a Simic deck. Yeah, and it obviously is doing well. It got three people in the top 4 of this big tournament. So that is nothing to scoff at. So what would I give this deck out of 10? It's pretty hard to not give it a 10. Again, it's just super interesting again to have these commander centric decks. A lot of people also again skeptical about the Simic colors like I was, but I think the deck has proven itself at this point, and a lot of people talking about it in the CDH space, and I think in pretty much modern or pretty much any format now. Nadu is now a must kill. It is a kill on site card. You do not let it stick around. So that's pretty impressive to do that so fast and so quickly, and to kind of do that. When I was playing again, to kind of relate it to Stella, when I was playing Stella, like a lot of people, even when I was doing the thing, were sort of still skeptical, and we're kind of downplaying the abilities of the commander, and it took quite a while for people to come around to it. So the fact that this card is making so many waves in so many formats so quickly really goes to show how absurd this card is. So yeah, it's gonna be a 10 for power level, 0 for balance. Again, I don't think it should be banned in Commander. At least that's not my opinion yet. But it's pretty absurd that this card. I mean, I kind of just want to see this card just removed from Magic entirely, just because I think it was a mistake. That's a little bit of a hot take. If it is, if it is, let me know. But yeah, I think it's a pretty big mistake to put a card like this in this fashion. I think they I think they tried to limit the card, and I think they just failed. And I don't see why they made the card in this fashion. So Anyways, those are my thoughts on Nadu. Again, I'm not planning on picking up the deck. I despise green decks. If it hasn't been clear and it hasn't been shown that I don't really play green decks or green cards very much, I just don't really like green as a color. So not going to be picking up Nadu. Going to be sticking with my Is It decks. But it is certainly a very powerful card, and if you have all these cards, or if you have like Shuko has shot up to like $30, so if you have a copy of Shuko, go ahead and sell it or do something with it, or play Nadu, because it obviously is a very powerful deck. All right, I think that's gonna do it for me. Enough of my ranting about this absurd card. If you enjoyed the content, remember to like, comment, subscribe. That does really help me out. I do enjoy doing these deck lists or these deck techs. If you have a list that you would like me to look at, remember to submit it in the comments or in the Discord. There's a channel just for that. So, all right, thanks again for watching. See you guys in the next video.